This video is specifically for those who are taking optimizing their life seriously. Most of this information was taken from the Huberman Lab podcast, but it was taken from many different articles and many different videos and combined into one. And the goal of this video is to kind of synthesize all this information that I've learned and this information that I have placed in my life that's helped me. And I hope that from my experiences and from my knowledge that I've gained from different sources, I can benefit you. This video is probably going to be kind of long, so if you're on a laptop, I say just take your hand off the mouse, and if you're on a phone, just prop your phone up somewhere because it's probably going to be pretty long. But let's get into it, man. The first thing I'll tell you to do in the morning is just make a beeline for sunlight. If you've watched any, morning routine videos kind of similar to this, you've probably heard about this, but my goal is to kind of describe to you why to go get sunlight. So, in your body, there is a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. So basically, it has a lot to do with waking you up in the morning and making you feel tired. The levels, depending on the levels, you'll feel really awake and like really, hyped up. And then like depending if your levels are low, you'll be kind of tired, right? And so what the sun does is when you go get sunlight, specifically morning sunlight, I don't necessarily know why it is specifically morning sunlight, but that's all you need to know is that specifically morning sunlight. So after you wake up, get out of your bed and go to sunlight, right? Now, you don't necessarily have to roll out of your bed and go straight for sunlight, but it's suggested that you do it within the first hour after waking. I always tend to do it like as soon as I wake up because just go ahead and get it over with. So you go get your sunlight and look towards the sun. Do not force yourself to stare into the sun if it's painful. You will hurt your eyes. You cannot come at me if you hurt your eyes by doing this because I'm telling you right now, if it's painful or it's hard to look at the sun, it's perfectly fine to squint, it's perfectly fine to blink, it's perfectly fine to not look directly at the sun. And I highly encourage you not to look directly at the sun, but look towards it. So you're facing towards the east, right? Sun's coming up. Don't necessarily stare right at the sun. Stare towards the sun. I know the sun is very bright at my house, so I never really look at the sun unless I'm waking up early. Like say I'm waking up at 5 and the sun's coming up about 6. The sun's not too bright then because it's coming over the tree line, and so I can look at the sun there. Now, if it's around 8 o'clock, the sun's already pretty high in this. It's not pretty high in the sky, but it's above the tree line and it's like fully shining down on me. Then I obviously can't look at the sun. Again, it is perfectly fine to squint. It is perfectly fine to not look at the sun. So, how long should you stay in the sun? You should stay in the sun from anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes if it's a clear day and it's bright outside. Now, down in South of the United States, it's normally pretty bright. But say you live somewhere like in Oregon, still in the United States, but it's up north to the west coast, right? It is basically always cloudy and overcast there. Or say you live somewhere like in the UK. I know I got some UK viewers. If it is cloudy outside, try to get anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight. Now, I fully understand that 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight can be quite long, especially in the morning. So you wake up in the morning, and normally a lot of guys, you might have a job to go to in the morning or whatever, and so you're kind of rushed for time in the morning. So you just kind of have to do it how you do it. I'd say you'd be fine with 8 minutes, um, but 10 to 15 minutes is optimal. There is ways to kind of kill like two birds with one stone. So how I do it is, I hope I'm in focus. New camera boys. So anyway, so how I do it is I have a cold plunge or ice bath on my back porch, and my back porch faces east, right? Bro, I hope I'm in focus. Goodness. All right. So I have a cold plunge that is on my back porch, right? And so how I'm doing it right now is I get my sunlight when I do the cold plunge in the morning. So, like I said, where I live, it's normally pretty bright, a higher percentage of the time. So, I get in the cold plunge for around 3 to 4 minutes, and then I just look towards the sun while I do that. And I kind of kill two birds with one stone. Another thing you could do, like say you live in the UK or somewhere where it's kind of cloudy, meditate while you are outside looking at the sun. And let me make this clear, you do not have to close your eyes to meditate. I know a lot of guys, you think you have to close your eyes and like cross your legs and stuff. It's meditation is not that deep. All you have to do is really just focus on your breath, and you can do that with your eyes open. So the benefits of getting sunlight in the morning, you will experience more alertness and better mood actually throughout the day. And so basically, if you trade 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of your morning, you basically are more alert throughout the day. So you're more perceptive to learning and you feel more awake and you have a better mood. That's time well spent, if you ask me. And so it also has something to do with your circadian clock or your circadian rhythm. Circadian clock and circadian rhythm are pretty much the same thing. If you look them up on Google, circadian clock and circadian rhythm, they come up as like the exact same description. So it pushes your circadian clock back. So what that means is you will want to wake up earlier the next day and go to sleep later that night. This can be very useful like if you're trying to wake up early in the morning. I know it helped me a lot because like I know a lot of guys you struggle with waking up at 5 a.m. I struggle with waking up at 5 a.m. So I fully understand that. So starting to get sunlight in the morning will help you wake up at 5 a.m. better. It'll if you already know that, you'll go in with like the mental, so you already think it's better, and then also you'll get the benefits as well. So it's kind of like a win-win. I should also make it clear that this is not about getting sunlight on your body per se. Like that is good and it's healthy, whatever. But the main thing is getting sunlight in your eyes, right? That's why you look towards the sun. That's why you try to get as much sun in your eyes because what this is doing is it's stopping the production of melatonin and it's raising your cortisol levels, which is what you want because melatonin is the hormone that makes you tired. It's what makes you feel like it's what makes you want to go to sleep at night. And so when you wake up in the morning, you still have melatonin like floating around within you. And so getting sunlight in the morning or staring at a bright light stops the production of melatonin and it starts raising your cortisol. And how that is done is through your eyes. This is why like when you wake up in the morning, um it's best to turn all the lights on because it's going to be very hard to go to sleep if you have a bunch of bright lights on you. But like you know how hard it is if it's nighttime and you're trying to pull an all-nighter because you have a lot of work to do and it's in a dim room, it's gonna be very hard to stay awake. Vice versa though, if it's a very bright room and you have a bunch of bright LED lights on, it's gonna be a lot harder to go to sleep because this has to play off like the melatonin and the cortisol and whatever. Now, what I'm saying about lights in indoors, I'll go ahead and say this is that the lights inside are not bright enough to change your cortisol levels. So basically, lux is how you measure light. If you measure the indoor lights that you have, there's apps you can do this on your phone, but I'm not going to advertise any here. But there's apps you can get on your phone that measure the lux in a room. So if you were to measure the lux from, like, I have a lamp right here. If you were to measure the light from this lamp right here, and then go out and measure the light from the sun, even on a cloudy day, it's like 10 to 100x more. Turning LED lights on in your house, they will help you stay awake, but they are not bright enough to change your cortisol levels. So that's why you can't sit inside and just get the sunlight from a window because windows, they dim the light of the sun, they don't let all the UV rays through, and it's just going to take way too much time to get your cortisol up. Where if you go outside, it's going to take 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 minutes depending on how bright it is. I know we're talking a lot about light here, and there's going to be consistent uh different names of hormones coming up in this video. So if you want to go down in the description, I made a PDF that has all of the hormone names and all of the descriptions, and I gave some personal notes on the hormones specifically to help you like with optimizing your morning routine and your sleep schedule and whatever in there. So I'll give like the Google definition and I'll give like my own personal notes. It's kind of like a journal for you. So normally these type of videos you'll be journaling for yourself, but I kind of jotted down a little bit for you so you maybe you don't have to do that. So if you want to go down in the description, I've made a PDF. You can print that out, take a screenshot, do whatever you want with it, or you don't even have to use it, but it is there for your use if you want it. So actually we'll move on to the next subject, but stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give a bonus tip for you guys that have RGB lights in your room. So like I have RGB lights in my room, like these can turn rainbow colors. And so stay around to the end of the video and I'll give a tip on what you can do to help optimize your sleep and awakeness with the change of these lights. So that's all about light. So now let's go into the next thing, which is cold exposure. Now, cold exposure is one of the last things you're going to want to do in the morning. One of the last things you're going to do. You hear these guys, acting like they're crying when they're getting in these cold showers, and that is probably pretty factual because cold showers are absolutely horrible. They're not just horrible like in the morning, they're horrible all the time. But in the morning, they're 10 times worse because you're getting out of your warm covers or a decently warm room and you're going and hopping in the cold shower. However, there are so many benefits to getting cold exposure in the morning. So let me go into these a little bit. The benefits of cold exposure in the morning are like you get improved sleep, improved mood, you're more alert throughout the day, you're gonna want to sleep better, and sleep earlier and sleep later and deeper. It helps with muscle recovery. Like there's a plethora of good benefits that you get from cold exposure. And there's not many cons to it besides the pain that you feel. But you do not have to do cold exposure for that long. And so, like I said, how I do it is I have a cold plunge, cold tub on my back porch, right? And so I go out there. I'm gonna be completely honest, it's down right now because we're replacing it for this one because the ones we got before were pretty fragile and whatever. But what I did when I had that pull up is I go and I get in the cold plunge for around 3 minutes. That's all it takes, and you are gonna huff and puff. But let me tell you something, bro. You feel on top of the world when you're done. And honestly, getting in a cold plunge, even though you're like putting literal ice in it and everything, you'll think it'd be way colder, and it probably is a little bit colder, but it is less painful than a cold shower because a cold shower, you're getting this cold water on you, but then the air is making you feel way colder and you're trying to bathe yourself. What you do with this is literally you just get in and you're gonna go numb after a little bit, so it's not even gonna be that bad. But the first bit, you're gonna get shocked like crazy. And then but you're gonna calm down. And one, it's like a meditation and you didn't even plan for it, which I really like. It's like a quick 3 minutes of meditation because you're just focusing on your breath, which is very good, but it helps with muscle recovery. It makes you feel good. Like it's so beneficial. And if you have the money, invest in like a barrel, invest in like anything. What we're doing is we're getting like we go to Tractor Supply and you get like these big barrels that can be used for like anything. For like like if you have horses and stuff like that. And you just that's what we're gonna do, right? And so beneficial, man. Now if you don't have that option, you do end up having to get in the cold shower, and I respect that. But what I suggest for you for a tip is to get in the shower when it's warm. So take a pretty warm shower when you first get in, kind of wake yourself up a little bit. But then after you're done like washing yourself, this is all done in the morning, right? So after you're done washing yourself, turn the water on cold, like as cold as it can go for like 3 minutes. And then that way you can also focus on your breath in the shower and you're not like focusing on bathing yourself. You can actually bathe yourself in peace, but then you get like your therapy, whatever you want to call it, session of cold exposure, uh, and get that done, right? And that's going to wake you up at the end of the shower. You're going to get out and you're still going to see the benefits, right? So let me go a little bit in depth of why this wakes you up and why it kind of makes you more alert and whatever. So when you go to sleep, you want to sleep in a cold environment because your body sleeps better in cold. And you normally wake up because your body heats up. So as you sleep, your body slowly gets colder, right? It kind of makes sense, right? You're not doing anything, you're staying like still. And so your body's going to get colder. So if you wake up at say 7 a.m., your body is going to be at its coldest temperature at 5 a.m. But after 5 a.m., your body is going to steadily start to gain temperature. And that is why you wake up in the morning because your body heats up. Now, you might have an alarm or whatever, and that's a little different. Basically, whatever time you wake up, minus 2 hours, and that is going to be your coldest temperature. And so, basically, how you want to wake up in the morning is to raise your body temperature. This is why it's very good to work out in the morning. So, like if you go to the gym in the morning, it's going to heat your body temperature up. You're going to feel more alert throughout the day, whatever. And so, cold exposure, what it does is it actually raises your internal body temperature. This is because of the outer surface layer of your skin being cold, your body inevitably, bro, I can't talk, has to warm up to compensate for the cold on the outside. And for this to happen, it normally takes 2 to 3 minutes, right? That is why you tend to wake up in the morning because your body temperature actually has to heat up. And so cold exposure does that. Your body all it's trying to do is maintain 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, just say 98 degrees. That's why it warms up, because when you get cold exposure on the outside, it has to warm up to maintain its comfortable body temperature. And so that's why it works basically. Your body's healthy body temperature is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why when you have a fever, you don't feel good because your body temperature is way high. And so cold exposure, it starts another circadian clock or circadian rhythm, the same thing. So I'm gonna call it circadian clock because it's easier to say. So circadian clock, and basically this is just gonna help you with your sleep schedule, which a lot of morning routine is a lot about sleep schedule. So waking up and going to sleep and getting optimal sleep so you feel rested in the morning. And so optimizing your circadian clock will help you with this. And cold exposure helps with optimizing your circadian clock. And so that's going to help you in general with waking up, feeling more rested, and whatever. Now, vice versa in the evening. Now, I know this isn't to do with the morning routine, but it's going to help you with your morning routine because you're going to get more optimal sleep. So in the evening, like I said, if you're going to do cold plunge in the morning, what do you think you do in the evening? You take a warm shower, or if you have a sauna, or if you go to the gym in the evening, hop in the sauna for a little bit. And that's going to help with lowering your body temperature because of the outside heat. Your body still wants to maintain 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Your internal body temperature is going to cool down, and that's going to optimize your sleep. That's why when you're in a cold environment, you tend to sleep better. So if it's in the evening, try to take a warm shower. Don't burn yourself, and like you can seriously like get hurt and pass out if your shower is too hot. But a warm shower, get some steam in there, and that's going to help with your sleep in the evening. So that's cold exposure. Now, I know a lot of you guys drink caffeine, and so caffeine has some pretty cool things that I'll talk about here. Um, this will be a shorter section than all the other ones, so just you're fine, bro. So you should not drink caffeine within the first 90 to 120 minutes of the day. This is because your adrenal system is not active until the first 90 to 20 minutes of the day. So basically, what that means is you're not going to be able to consume and actually use the caffeine and actually get optimal energy out of it, right? So basically, I don't drink coffee all the time. I don't really love coffee. I drink it every now and then. But I know like I have family members that drink a lot of coffee. And some of you guys might drink energy drinks. I'm not gonna come at you, but they're not that healthy. Whatever, I don't care. Do what you want. But you're not gonna want to do this because you're probably already in a bad habit of waking up, getting the coffee set up and whatever. But if you really want to get the optimal amount of energy out of drinking caffeine in the morning, wait 90 to 120 minutes. So, what you can do in this time, you could read for an hour, which is what I try to do every day, which is read for an hour in the morning. You could meditate in the morning. You could journal in the morning. You could do some deep work in the morning for half an hour to an hour and a half. And so, and then after that, reward yourself with the caffeine, and you're going to get optimal energy out of it. Now, I will say also that if you drink caffeine every day, you're just obviously not going to get the optimal amount of energy out of it. Like someone who doesn't drink caffeine every day will get more hyper than the person who drinks caffeine every day from the same amount of caffeine, because your body, it's going to adjust to the amount that's coming in. It's basically like a drug. So if you're taking a drug to get the same high off of it, you're going to have to take more and more of that drug. And so that's why, like, to get the same amount of energy, you might have to drink 3 cups of coffee instead of just drink one or two, because one guy, he's only drinks caffeine every now and then, and there one person that's just drinking caffeine every day, and now their baseline is up here, and they have to drink this much to get any kind of energy out of it, right? So like that's with me. I don't drink caffeine every day, and I do that specifically because of this. Because when I drink caffeine, I want to be hyped. So like if I'm about to go into like a gym workout or something, I want to drink caffeine and I want to actually be hyped. These guys that be drinking like they'd be taking pre-workout every workout, and so they're not gonna be as hyped as the first time they took pre-workout. And so they're gonna have to like take more or whatever. I don't take pre-workouts, so I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but I do know that it's got a lot of caffeine in it. Caffeine helps a lot with focus. Andrew Huberman talks about this. So if you want to like get into a deep work session, drinking caffeine before could help you a lot, especially just like with being alert. Being alert helps with focus in general. Um, so caffeine will help with that. So I'm not like bashing caffeine consumption or anything. The only thing is that try to limit your consumption. Don't drink it every day. And in the first 90 to 120 minutes a day, try to not drink it. Like I know if you have to do it, it's not going to be the end of the world. You'll probably still see some benefits. But if you want to get like the optimal amount of energy out of your caffeine consumption, just wait 90 to 120 minutes of the day and don't drink every day. So if you stuck around to the end of this video, I'm absolutely proud of you, bro, and there's success in your future. And like I'm so happy for you. So basically, RBG lights, this is the bonus tip. RBG lights, they give you any color you want, right? Red light will help you sleep better, and blue light will not. Let me explain. So I know a lot of you guys, you think red RBG lights are like, you're going demon mode or whatever, and you're feeling mischievous, get your red lights on, like, bro, I was the same way for a little while, and so I always had these blue lights on, like dark ocean blue, and that's a vibe. It's a vibe. I have my lamps on, bro. It's like I'm in a submarine, but I was not sleeping good when I had these on, and I wasn't thinking I'd be reading for an hour and a half, for an hour before I went to bed, and I'd struggle to be going to sleep, and then I watched this video. Red light does not disrupt your cortisol levels where blue light does. So I'm sure you've probably heard of blue light glasses for computers, and you got your blue light dial on your computer, and you can make your computer like orange or whatever. And so that's specifically for your sleep. Blue light, like on your RBG lights, is exactly the same. The light that comes from the sun, that is considered blue light. That's why it disrupts your cortisol level and whatever, right? And so when you have these blue light RBGs, these blue light RBG lights in your room, it's gonna disrupt your sleep. It's gonna make you feel more alert and whatever. And you might think it's a vibe, and you're just chilling. Oh, I'm chilling in my blue lights, and you know you'll still go to sleep. But this video is for real ones. This video is for people who are actually like really trying to optimize their sleep scientifically, and I fully understand that. And so since I discovered that, I literally always have my lights on red. I literally want to replace this lamp. So you see this lamp in the background, bro? It's blue. I want to get a lamp like this one I have on my desk. It's literally like orange. And so the more orange, the more red the light, the less it's gonna like disrupt your cortisol levels and stuff. I know a lot of you guys, you'll read for an hour and a half before you go to bed, which is very good. It helps you sleep better, whatever. I'm not gonna go into that because it's not an evening routine video. But if you have RBG lights, just put them on red for me. Just put them on red. It's gonna help you sleep better. It's not gonna disrupt your cortisol levels before you go to sleep when you're reading. And trust me, bro, you might not see a difference, like, but there's a difference. There's a difference. Trust me, going on inside in your body, and it's gonna help you get better sleep. Again, there is a PDF down in the description if you want to like study the names of these hormones and stuff. That you might think that's cringe, but if you're really trying to be serious about this, you're probably gonna watch other videos than just mine, and so you might as well learn what these hormones are, like serotonin and hormone. I know we didn't talk about serotonin too much in this video, but getting sunlight also helps with serotonin, which is basically like your happiness. It's like dopamine, but it has to do a lot with mood. And so serotonin, cortisol, which we talked about a lot, melatonin, like these are all down here. I give some notes, personal notes that I wrote for myself, and then I also got like literally just a Google description of them, so you don't have to go through all that, which I know takes time, and I had to do that. So that's in the description if you want to pick that up. My name's Charlie. I'm a homeschooled athlete and entrepreneur on self improvement. Much love to you, bro, and keep improving your life. Never stop.